We had the Māori Principals Association on earlier this morning, Tracy Fraser. Do you stand by the funding cuts to te reo for teachers? And she says, why can't you have both?
Well, I think the first thing is what I'd be most concerned about is only 12% of our Māori students at the end of year 8 are where they need to be on
So
mathematics.
just for a change, Chewy, he does not answer the question. He rolls out the talking points around achievement in schools. Now, that's a conversation to be had, for sure, but that's not the question that Daniel Faitawa asked him. I have to be honest, I freaked out a little bit there because for some reason I was expecting Jenny May-Coffin and I heard Daniel Faitawa and I was like, oh no, I wasn't Jenny May-Coffin.
Concerned about is only 12% of our Māori students at the end of year 8 are where they need to be on mathematics going into high school. Across the whole country, it's only 22%. So basically 4 out of 5 of our kids across the whole country are not at the standard they need to be going into high school. We know mathematics is critical because we can't build 4-lane highways to whangarei, we can't do agri-science, we can't do artificial intelligence if we don't have some of that foundational knowledge in place. So that's our focus and that's our
Okay, so let's ask this question, Mr. Luxon. What is our biggest earner here in New Zealand? Tourism. Tourism is our biggest earner. Just to play the game that Luxon's playing, do you think knowing what pi is to the 7th decimal is more important for tourism or te reo? Or speaking and knowing Māori? Like, because he's basically minimizing te reo by saying how important maths is in these fields. And sure, I would agree with him that maths is probably more important in those fields than a second language or a Māori language, like if it's your second language. However, there are lots of other work fields. In fact, the one that earns New Zealand the most money, where te reo, knowing Māori, understanding Māori, would be more relevant than maths. It's funny how he doesn't use that example, Chewy.
This guy is a moron. Like I just keep circling back to it. You can't push him off his talking points. He can't update his thinking.
I'll just bring this up while you're talking.
Yeah, look, file footage. Like, it's just such shallow thinking. Like, yes, maths is important. No one's debating that it isn't.
Yeah.
But when you minimize our individual country's culture, and rank it at that point, going, well, this isn't good enough. Like, the question is not, hey, look, Māori students aren't achieving to the level that we want them to because of te reo Māori.
Yeah.
Like, the answer is somewhere else. Our education system is failing our Māori students. Why? Is it classroom style? Is it classroom size? Are we trying to make them learn in a system that is not set up for them, that does not bend? And his answer is to come up with a more rigid education system. Absolutely insane.
So this clip is only like 1:10, right? The first 40 seconds of 1:10, he hasn't answered it. He's deferred off to a talking point. Let's see what the last 30 seconds holds, folks.
Priority. What we've done with respect to that program is made an assessment to say, look, we've spent $100 million on it since 2019. It's not NZQA accredited. It's double the cost of other providers. And frankly, there's been low completion rates. We think with the different wānanga and also tertiary institutions that there's other programs that can deliver some of that te reo education and training that we want to see. So we're committed to that. But it's just, we're also a government, as I've said many times before, if we see a program being ineffective, we're quite happy to stop it and do something else that is going to be more effective.
Now, to me, Chewy, this is one of those examples as well of, we've talked about this, cancelling something before you've got a replacement for it. Because when you hear Mr. Luxon say, another wānanga, these places can pick up on it, you kind of go, let's be fair, guys. Yes, we as taxpayers, if there is another option which is as good or better and half the price, I mean, that's just a wise spend of money. But what he's saying is, in theory, other wānangas could do this. And whilst they're saying in theory, they're cancelling this plan, Chewy.
Yeah, absolutely. This isn't planning. This is government by ideology, government by absolute chaos. And they're hoping that we can't keep track of all of these things that they're doing. But there's a lot of us that are paying attention to this now, and a lot of us that are just cutting through it. So these guys have got to wake up. Like if the rage that is bubbling down here in the South Island at the moment over something like the hospital filters through into other issues,
Yeah.
then this is a one-term government. This has to be a one-term government.
And remember when they start talking about money and that kind of stuff, this was the adage before the election.
We want a government that cares about how every single dollar is spent, because every single dollar the government spends is ultimately a dollar from your pocket.
That's clearly bullshit.
And then they spend $4 million. And look, $4 million is chicken feed when you've got a GDP of whatever it is, 250 billion, right? Gotcha. But it was Luxon's standard for himself. He said it, not me. This is not me putting on to Luxon my understanding of what he should do. It's him. It's him putting it onto him.
We want a government that cares about how every single dollar is spent. Because every single dollar the government spends is ultimately a dollar from your pocket.
And when they're cancelling this course, which is 30 million, but they're spending 4 million on a referendum or a series of legislative maneuvers, which are going to go nowhere. So he's saying every single dollar matters, well, except for those 4 million, which are a waste of time because it's not going anywhere. Those 4 million, that's actually quite a big chunk towards 30 million. That could have been a step way to paying for what they're now cancelling, shall we?
We should start a tally list. Like, yeah, cool. So 4 million, how much are we having to pay the Koreans for fucking them around? $500,000 that we paid Bill English to do almost no work. 3 day a week levy at the health service. I guess they're walking away from a hospital down here, so there's a sunk money in that. Mm-hmm. Like they say this, and it sounds great. It sounds like we've got a government that is aware of the fact that the money that they're spending doesn't belong to them, and that there are obligations that come with it, and it is not backed up by action. Because these guys can borrow. Like the International Monetary Fund came out today and said, we've got concerns about New Zealand's economy and their spending.
Yeah.
We believe, as we have done for many years, that they need to look at a comprehensive capital gains tax, and that they need to look at not that they're spending, but what they're spending on.
Yeah.
And singling out the removal of interest deductibility for landlords. The International Monetary Fund. What the fuck? This is just, it's mental. It is brainworms territory. Everybody's gone insane.